Best Buddies is a nonprofit 501c3 organization in all 50 countries and in 50 states that helps create one-to-one friendships for people with and without intellectual and developmental disabilities. This past summer, Eastern Best Buddies was awarded the most outstanding college chapter in the whole world. We beat all 50 states and 31 countries. And we did this because we don't have just a mission to help people and to spread the mission on Eastern's campus, but we're also have a commitment to help educate the people in our community, and we also have a commitment to helping Best Buddies Connecticut.
I sat next to a girl in my study hall who had an intellectual disability, and we became best friends just in that study hall, and we would draw and trade stickers and all this fun stuff, and then she told me to join Best Buddies so I could be her buddy.
We host many activities each semester. We try to make them age appropriate. We have karaoke nights, we have movie nights, we go bowling, we have friendship walks. We do everything that a college student would like to do. For a lot of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, their social life ends right when they graduate high school. They don't really have a lot of friends, they don't really do anything on Friday nights. Best Buddies helps them have a social life outside of their working life. The friendships created here at Eastern are life-changing for the college student and their buddy. We have about 30 successful friendships, and they have carried not only from the 4 years at Eastern, but for the rest of people's lives.
The one thing people should know about Best Buddies is that Best Buddies is more than just a friendship. It really leaves a lasting impression on the buddies and college students like myself.
People can join Best Buddies at any time in the year. We meet every Wednesday at 3 p.m. in the Student Center, room 219.
We just pretty much hang out. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I grew up here in Willimantic, Connecticut. I went to Windham High School. I'm a 1969 graduate. I did my undergraduate work at Central Connecticut State University. Did my graduate work at Ohio State University. Completed my master's and PhD in exercise science. This concludes my 39th year teaching at the university level, my 34th here at Eastern. And for 18 of those 39 years, I coached men's college basketball, 13 here at Eastern as the head men's coach. Teaching is very unique, and the reason I was drawn to it is because I saw the opportunity to positively impact more people in this particular profession than in most others.
Heads? Yeah, okay.
I really believe that teaching at its highest level involves three things: relationships, rigor, relevance. One of my major functions is to prepare outstanding physical educators to teach at the public schools. I sincerely believe that the more passionate you are about what you do, the more enthusiastic you are, the harder you're going to work. And the harder we work at something, the more successful we become. And the more successful we become, the more passionate, the more enthusiastic we are. It's a vicious cycle.
The coronoid process of what bone is this? The ulna. How do you know? Ulna's bone what side? Little finger side. Radius is bone what side? Thumb side.
I want to make an impression every single day. That's important to me. That when you leave that classroom as a student, you're just shaking your head, saying, here's an individual 63 years old, and he gives us everything he has, mentally, physically, emotionally. That's my goal.
He's a great professor. He's really passionate about what he does. He makes sure you're engaged and involved in every class.
Dr. Switch, hands down, the most influential professor I've had. I transferred to Eastern because I was sick of having professors that didn't even know my name, and he's really embodied what I expected when I transferred to this university.
When I prepare to walk into class, I've spent a minute or two getting myself emotionally and physically ready. I say to myself, I want to impress these students, today, tomorrow, and when I open that door, it's hey, it's great to be alive, gang. Let's go.
It's a great day to be alive, gang.
It's great to be alive, gang.
Great to be alive, gang. It's great to be alive, gang.
It's great to be alive, gang.
I was here, and I think it was about 30 years ago, and what made me say that first day, I really can't remember. I really can't recall.
See how it laterally rotates the humerus? Okay? Okay, when that muscle contracts, it's going to rotate the shoulder laterally. It's going to rotate the shoulder laterally. It's going to rotate the shoulder laterally.
My legacy,
Laterally.
I want every student to say I was simply the best professor, the best teacher that they've ever had. And a lot of that has to do with the enthusiasm and the passion with which I approach my job each and every day.
I think going into the season and the first semester, I think we thought we were at a certain level, we were playing pretty well, and then Christina Forsman tore ACL. So that set us back quite a bit. And we'd already had, I guess, going into Las Vegas, Shannon McCourt was out with her shoulder injury. So those kind of compiled on us, I think, in January, and I think we lost some games that I would like to have back, and without those kids, and that's what we had to do. I mean, when you have injuries, you can't look back on them. You just got to keep moving forward, and that's what they did. So far, you know, they've practiced well. No signs of ill effects from their injuries so far this season, but they've, you know, been doing well. They had a lot of leadership, obviously being seniors. They've seen a lot of basketball. They played a lot of basketball for us here at Eastern, and we're just excited for them to have a complete season and a complete senior year, and hopefully them and the rest of the team can come through with, you know, going after our goals of winning the conference championship and going to the NCAA tournament. I think for Taylor, it's just always, you know, playing within her own game, not trying to do too much, and relying on those weapons, you know, trusting her teammates, trusting that she has weapons to do things. And I think that she understands that. I think Jill can take a hit and score and post up strong, and she's really a hard matchup because she's not, you know, the prototypical maybe forward that's 6 foot tall, but she plays much bigger than her size, and then now with her jump shot, she can kind of stretch that defender out. And then Lindsay, you know, coming back to the team, excellent hands, probably the best hands of all my post players. Can catch anything thrown at her, and then just really needs to get kind of the rust off of her from taking a semester off. Alexis Foster, excellent rebounder, very good defender. Just needs to develop her more, and I think she's still working that out, being kind of a young player for us. I think for me, the focus is, and I think the team's focus is getting the program back as one of the best teams in New England, and achieving those goals of winning the conference and going to NCAAs. I think to go out that way and all they've been through, and to look how they left the program. And I think that's, as a senior, you know, you want to win championships, but I think the legacy of how you leave the program is probably the greatest feeling you can have, and I want them to have that feeling when they're done.
WAME has had a community garden in Willimantic for 20 years now, and that's a pretty big deal.
I was only going to be an interim director, and here I am 20 years later and still here. We looked for a site for quite some time until we came upon this beautiful little hill right up here in Lauder Park.
20 years ago, some Windham area residents started a community garden. This grassroots effort became organized and overseen by WAME, which stands for Windham Area Interfaith Ministry. The garden's grown in many ways over the years, both in size and in the ways the community uses its resources. About 5 years ago, Grow Windham was created by Sally Milius in an effort to support local food security and education for area youth. Today, Grow Windham brings the town's Parks and Rec summer camp into the garden to teach kids about where their food comes from.
And Grow Windham's role became sort of bringing in the youth component to that garden. So bringing in the kids from the camp at first, and then our high school program, and then more university volunteers work days. Well, the kids have brought a new face to the garden. The kids do everything in the garden. I mean, they're planting, weeding, and they also have their own youth garden, and from that they grow produce to sell. They have to market the produce. They take it to the Willimantic Farmers Market on Saturday morning. So that's part of our summer youth program. We've started having garden parties in the fall, and that's an opportunity for everyone to gather. And that's, you know, university students, community members, our youth participants, their families.
It's a little microcosm of Willimantic. It represents the community in its diversity, its multiple ethnicities, multiple languages. There's really a whole range of people that come together and are doing something that they all probably wouldn't even come into contact with each other in the rest of the world, but in the garden, they all love the same thing, and they're all there for a specific reason, and they all love it.
It's hard work, but what it means to the community is an effort to provide your own food and your own nourishment in your own backyard.
The garden is a really special place, and I think its story needs to be told.
The proposal was to run 40 miles a day for 100 days from San Francisco, California to Hampton Beach, New Hampshire.
On May 3rd, Chester's Gary Aramini climbed out of this Winnebago in San Francisco, dipped his left foot into the Pacific Ocean, and embarked on a cross-country run to raise money for cancer research. Now, this was Gary's way of battling the disease that took the life of his close friend Billy Clay, who died the year before.
I was 19. My cousin Gary was 20, and it turns out that he found another guy shortly after that named John Thompson, and John was 21. None of us had an idea what we were doing. None of us had any idea as far as logistics, physiology. None of us had any idea as far as fundraising, public relations, finance, any of it. But we were three kids that decided this is something we were going to do. And that's how it began. We started out with a goal of $100,000 because what we found is that people often want goals. They want something that's measurable. It gives people some tangibility. So we set a goal of $100,000. But I think the overwhelming goal of it was to raise awareness and memorialize a friend. I was raised that family is very important, and even extended family. And so as a result of our family, this is why we got involved in it. Until we got to Missouri, we were running 40 a day, sometimes walking, sometimes carrying, but 40 miles a day. Oftentimes we would have people come up to us that were cancer survivors on the road and just be, you know, crying or want to give us money or food or pray for us. Or it was quite an eclectic experience as far as people that it would draw, because cancer affects everybody. And so when we were on the road, sometimes the emotionality of somebody coming up to you saying, you know, listen, I just buried my daughter. That's quite a cross to bear for a while. And it was extremely impacting on me because I found that I was asked to do something that was truly extraordinary. And I am not an extraordinary man, but we as a team did something extraordinary. 3 kids, 19, 20, and 21, dumber than stones, all of us. But we found we could make a difference, and we found out we could make a huge difference. But I think my message is find your run, whatever your run is. It doesn't have to be a run on foot across country. It doesn't have to be this Herculean event. It can be as modest as going to a soup kitchen. It can be as modest as putting together a tournament to raise money for Salvation Army. It can be sponsoring a child overseas, whatever your run is. But when you find yourself saying, what the hell am I doing here? Usually you're in the right place.